Prince once said, "Music is healing, music holds things together," and I couldn't agree more. Before I start this presentation, I want you to think of one song that has made you feel like the singer was basically reading your mind. And then I want you to think about what emotion that song might have made you feel, whether it was you felt happy, you felt pain, you felt healed. I want you to hold on to that feeling throughout this entire presentation. That's basically what I'm here to talk to you about. Why I believe that music is so important, and I think it's because music has such a unique way of reaching us. And a few of the reasons I believe that is because it creates a community. It sometimes clarifies feelings that we didn't even know we were feeling, or just puts it into words that we could have never put. And then it inspires us. So to start off, I think this is probably like the most universal part of why people love music, and it's because it creates bonding. It connects us to people that we might have never connected with, or it just brings us closer to our friends, anything like that. A good quote from the Medium is that trading these bracelets with fellow fans became a way to connect, share stories, and embody the love Taylor sang about. Obviously, I'm speaking of the Eras Tour. I was lucky to go to it with a few of my best friends, and I really couldn't have had a better experience. It just became such a much larger thing than just a concert. It was a place where, you were going to listen to Taylor, but you were also excited to talk to the fans. It was a place where you knew people, like-minded people, were going to be, and just they were going to make you feel welcome, and you were excited to just trade your friendship bracelets, which might seem like not much to some people, but it was so fun. You just know that you're all there, and you love the same music, and you can just go and talk about it. And then kind of stay in that realm is that I really do believe that music is a universal language. You could have a fan, in Tokyo, a fan in France, a fan in London, or here in the US, because they're all going to the same concert and you're all listening to the same music. And I think that's really special. A quote from Vocal Media is that regardless of where we are from or the language we speak, music has an incredible ability to unite us, connect us with our emotions, and help us understand others. And kind of what I said before, it's just amazing to me that I can just talk to someone in France about Harry Styles' new album, and they completely know what I'm saying. It doesn't matter that it's a different language and we might have to use Google Translate. We're speaking about loving the same thing, and that automatically connects us. And I think that's really, really special. And then another reason is that sometimes music can remind us of people, of places, and moments that I love. I know that I have a playlist on Spotify just titled Memories, and it's really just full of so many songs that anytime I have a memory and I kind of associate a song with it, I'll put it in there. And then when I want to feel nostalgic, I'll kind of just play that playlist, and just not looking for anything in general, but I just get flooded with a bunch of memories, and it makes me so happy. So I think it's so special that music can do that for us. And a really sweet quote that I found from BBC is that those suffering from dementia can trigger vivid memories by listening to music they heard when they were young. And I just think that's so special that they, obviously our memories are such a thing that we hold so close to us, and the fact that they can experience this too makes it even more special. And then obviously, I think this is probably my biggest reason as to why I love music, is that music can put our feelings into words when we sometimes can't. A quote from Abbey Road Institute is that in the earlier days we would give mixtapes. Since words could not express our feelings, we would use the emotion in music. And obviously now the modern version of that is we just kind of make playlists on Apple Music or Spotify, like I just mentioned. And not that that's horrible, that's so amazing, and it's still such a great and much faster way to connect with friends. I know sometimes I'll look up a playlist so specific, but somebody definitely had already gone through those motions because the playlist is there. Or sometimes I'll send my friend a song and I'll be like, here, I know you might feel like you're not really understanding what you're feeling, but I feel like this song really encapsulates it. And obviously I'll find songs that make me feel that way, and I just think it's insane how something that started off being maybe just words on paper and then eventually became a song can really just feel like it's reading your mind. And then also kind of staying in that realm, that it's that music can kind of make you feel make you see things more clearly. I have a very ongoing joke with my friends and family that this album right here, Folklore by Taylor Swift, kind of made me a real person, which is obviously me being very dramatic and a joke. But what I mean by that is that album kind of made me start thinking. I feel like before that, I didn't really love music the way I do now. And then once I listened to that album, it brought up a lot of things that I think were just in the back of my head, but I generally don't think I would have brought them to the front of my head if it hadn't been for that album. That album just really sparked something in my brain, and it got me thinking about a lot of things, and I felt like I realized a lot of things after that album. Obviously, it wasn't only the album, but I do credit a lot to that, and it's again so insane that music can do that. And I do believe that part of the reason I changed after that album is because I felt so seen by it. And then lastly, another reason I love music is because I know that it can inspire us. Starting off, I know that other artists can come on, like just have a random day, just be listening to a song and kind of think to themselves that they would love to be part of that and just make something of their own, but with that sound. And a great quote from the Sample Lab, I think, is that sampling offers an opportunity to bring old music back to life and into the ears of younger listeners. And I think that's an amazing thing. Like, that's an amazing example. You'll be listening to a song. I know this has happened to me a bunch of times. I'll be listening to a song and I'll tell my friend, like, I swear I've heard this before. And my friend will be like, this is an older song just sampled into a newer song. And a great example of that is the song If You Ain't Got No Money, that was sampled in Fergie's song Glamorous, that was later more recently sampled in Jack Harlow's song First Class. And it's just a chain of samples, but I feel like if I heard each song I'd be able to tell the difference. But it's just so cool that it's lived on that many and it will live on for so many more years, and who knows, maybe somebody else will sample it later on. So I just think it's so cool that it can inspire other artists. And then obviously music can inspire us. A quote from LHS Today is that music is all around the world and one of the most popular forms of entertainment and escape. And obviously I can relate to this so much. I can't remember the last time I went a week, maybe like 2 days without listening to music. If I'm sad, I'll play music. If I want to be happy and inspire myself to have a good and better day than what I'm already having, I'll listen to music. And I think a really great example of this is when baseball players have walkout songs, because that song is literally just there to hype them up and inspire them to have the best game ever. And then lastly, I want to talk about how music can inspire pop culture. A great quote from Channel 13 is how music can inspire an entire generation, which is why it's one of the most potent members of pop culture, which I couldn't agree with more. This meme came out in 2016, but it's still a meme that if I saw it now, I wouldn't really think it's outdated, and it's inspired by the song Hotline Bling. And I just think it's so funny how it's so old, but it's still, like, I see it everywhere. So yeah, I hope you hold on to that feeling that I asked you to hold on to at the beginning of the presentation, and I hope that all these things I covered were kind of the way that song you hold on to made you feel. And I'll leave you with this really amazing quote by Bruce Springsteen that I love, and that is, the best music is essentially there to provide you something to face the world with. Thank you.